Well, after the truly horrific events of yesterday that sadly saw 31 people die, Home Secretary Priti Patel was in Parliament today, where several Conservative MPs urged the Home Secretary to take firm action now to get a handle on this worsening crisis. Now, first of all, Priti Patel laid out how she had been speaking to the French government.
The Prime Minister chaired an emergency COBRA meeting last night and then spoke to the President of France. I'm glad that President Macron indicated his determination to stop the vile people smuggling gangs and, importantly, to work closely with all partners across Europe. I have literally, Madam Deputy Speaker, just spoken again with my French counterpart, Minister d'Armement, and I've once again reached out and made my offer very clear to France in terms of joint France and UK cooperation, joint patrols to prevent these dangerous journeys from taking place. I've offered to work with France to put more officers on the ground and do absolutely whatever is necessary to secure the area so that vulnerable people do not risk their lives by getting into unseaworthy boats.
Of course, we know that offer has been on the table for a while now to put British personnel on the French beaches to stop this dangerous situation from escalating. So what Priti Patel was questioned about, urging her to take action now, including the turning back of boats and offshore processing. Here are the interventions made by Sir John Hayes and Sir Edward Lee. Let me know what you make of their interventions. Do you think it is time for the government to take this action now? Here is what they had to say. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys.
The tragedy in the Channel draws into sharp focus an issue about which we have no doubt of the Home Secretary's determined intentions, illustrated by a Borders Bill, which will go some way to fixing a broken asylum system, gamed by traffickers, by economic migrants and by rights lawyers. But she needs to go further. And that's why the Common Sense Group of MPs have written to her saying we need to disrupt those criminal gangs, we need offshore processing of claims, and we need to turn around boats in the Channel, as the law allows us to do. For people who voted to take back control have every right to ask the question, if you can't protect the integrity of the borders, what can you control?
I thank my right honourable friend for his comments, and he will know that within the bill as well, he mentions offshoring, third country. These are all options that are under consideration, and the bill does actually, new plan for immigration covers those areas. He's absolutely right in terms of the principal point that he makes, which is why we are determined, and we will not just stop and cease with the measures that we've already announced. We will look to augment and enhance some of the measures as well, because at the state of crisis that I think we're seeing with global migration issues right now, and the appalling loss of life and deaths that we have seen, it's incumbent upon everyone, governments and law enforcement, border controls, all the various agencies to come together to stop this awful trade in human trafficking.
What an appalling and entirely foreseeable tragedy. Will the Home Secretary agree with me that we cannot wait on her excellent bill? We cannot wait on the French cooperating with us and taking these poor people back, as they should. We have to act now in a national emergency to save lives. There are only two countries in the world who have solved this problem. Australia, which has an offshore processing centre, and Greece that does pushback. We have to be tough. We have to face down the human rights lawyers. If governments are weak, people die.
Deputy Speaker, well, just in response to my right honourable friend's colleagues, I echo his frustration fully. Now, in terms of toughness, I've been very clear, and I know this does upset some right honourable and honourable members in this House. I have not ruled anything out. And I put every option on the table, not just with France, by the way, but with other counterparts. Greece, in terms of pushbacks, they actually have special forces, they use their military, they use the Hellenic Coast Guard, and they use Frontex as well, just for the record for this House. As I said, I've seen that. They also have a programme of reception centres, which my right honourable friend will know and is aware of. That is part of the plan for the new plan for immigration as well, in terms of how we have differentiation, how we deal with the reform of the asylum system, and casework progressing as well. The fact of the matter is, there is no one silver bullet solution to this. And I know he understands this, and I know my colleagues do as well. That is why the new plan for immigration is important and the Nationality and Borders Bill. All colleagues will hear shortly in terms of the bill coming back to report stage in this House and the next stages with that bill. That bill is an important piece of legislation, Madam Deputy Speaker, because it will set the direction of travel, and importantly it will give the government more powers to actually be much, much firmer, and it will end many of the pull factors that have existed for too long and actually have helped to facilitate and encourage illegal migration.